Morning on CBS. And here again is Charles Kuralt.
Bill Geist says the 70s are about to make a comeback. The 70s?
You know, speaking of the 70s, Charles, the Ridgewood Maroons football team won the state football championship yesterday. And the reason that this is highly relevant is that my son's on the team, and he was born in the 70s. Didn't think I could get that in, did you?
Good for you.
Anyway, it does. It seems like we just waved goodbye, a fond farewell to the 1970s, and they're already back. Nostalgia seems to be gaining on us.
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
You are a meathead. Come home, America.
Isn't it a little early for a 70s revival? I mean, pretty soon we're going to be holding nostalgia parties for yesterday afternoon. Who really remembers the 70s anyway? And who wants to? These guys, Cliff Schenfeld and Craig Balsam, two corporate lawyers who dropped out of their 80s lifestyle to form the 70s Preservation Society.
It was the golden age of pop culture in this country, and people miss it. And Craig and I have dedicated a significant portion of our lives to making sure that that decade lives again.
Are you happy with your decision to dedicate your lives to this?
It wasn't even a decision. It was like a calling.
Hello, friends. I founded the 70s Preservation Society.
Maybe you've seen their commercial selling those fabulous hits of the 70s. And enrolling 150,000 viewers in the society. Why would they want to bring it back?
Because they need it. See, everyone's very depressed right now. The 90s are a very depressed time.
Indeed. One important function of the society is preserving artifacts of this lost era between the hippies and the yuppies. It's literature.
Love Story, Eric Siegel, that's the first time in which a book was based on the movie. That kind of started in the 1970s. And Love
It's
Story was
classical music.
Man, this is my prized possession, the Telly record. I mean,
It's contributions to fashion. Is it all right to touch that?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I would wash your hands when you're done, but...
70s nostalgia is fast becoming an industry.
Hi, welcome to Screaming Mimi.
Hi. I wanted to look at your 70s collection.
Okay, well, we got lots of that. Right?
Hip boutiques like Screaming Mimi's in New York are selling 70s fashions that would have been in garage sales 5 years ago.
Sure. All 100% polyester.
100% polyester?
Yes, they are.
These
Absolutely.
are wonderful. What would you wear something like that with?
Well, probably with, like, maybe a great pair of bell-bottoms, or maybe...
Some have called it the decade that taste forgot.
It was the golden age of polyester.
Andrew Edelstein has co-authored a book on the 70s.
And it was the golden age of gimmickry. Not only did you have pet rocks, but you had mood rings and macrame and puka shells and Kiana shirts. It was pretty high up on the tacky scale. So.
All dressed up and nowhere to go? Hardly. Disco is back.
Been out here longer than 5 minutes. Chances are you will not get in.
People have to be turned away on disco nights at the Roxy Club in New York. DJ Justin Sane.
They like the real trashy stuff, I think, the best. Saturday Night Fever and Barry Manilow, Copacabana, the real fun stuff they can sing along with. They like to sing along with the records.
It's their turn for nostalgia now. It seems that while the baby boomers weren't looking, an entire generation grew up in the 70s. Poodle skirt and hippie parties have finally run their course. There's the man right there. That's what a lot of people think about. Yeah.
the James Dean of the 70s, the Elvis Presley of the 70s, the most important icon of the 1970s. He stood for class, he stood for charisma, grace, he knew how to talk to women.
Somebody told me he was practicing to dance with me. Is that true?
We give Lava Lamp Achievement Awards to people who have contributed a great deal to the 1970s.
The Society also polls its members on important issues of that decade.
Do you think David Carradine really knew Kung Fu? Yes, 40%, no, 39%, and 21% undecided. They've had 15 years to figure out whether or not the man knew Kung Fu, and they 21% can't decide.
And the real important part of that is that David Carradine admitted a week ago that he did not know Kung Fu and did not learn it until after the show went off the air.
I don't believe that, by the way. I voted that he did know Kung Fu, and I still think he knew Kung Fu, and I don't care what he says in 1991. He was too good. The slow motion.
TV is the backbone of 70s culture. Stores like this one, named Reruns, have opened selling TV memorabilia of the period.
Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch.
I wrote a book on the Brady Bunch also, so...
A book?
A book, yes.
Okay.
You'll one day when the lady Mrs. Yellow.
The Brady Bunch have become the cultural icons for this generation because they presented this ideal blended family for a group of kids who grew up as children of divorce. I mean, in the 70s, the divorce rate just skyrocketed.
Greg, you can't do something you know is wrong just to go along with the guys. It's stupid.
Yeah. I guess it's not a very good excuse.
Honey, it's no excuse.
The 70s revival has sparked the return of the Brady Bunch, this time to the New York stage using TV scripts, verbatim.
Oh, these kids today, they have a language all their own.
Well, so do we.
We do.
It's like reviving Shakespeare, in a way. That is the dramatic literature of our generation. And
those at the Society argue that the 70s are worthy of revival, and they argue that the decade even had substance.
Everyone thought that political movements and activism was the 60s, but really the women's movement started in the 70s, the environmental movement started in the 70s, the gay rights movement started in the 70s. I mean, what was the #1 song of 1972? It wasn't, you know, Look Into Yourself, and it was I Am Woman by Helen Reddy, which spoke for an entire generation of women. What a complete decade.
It has been called the Forgotten Decade, and some of us think it was probably better off that way. But it is said that those who do not remember history are condemned to repeat it. Nobody wants that.